Hey, how are you? I am not in my usual location for my studio, but I am anxious to bring you this little YouTube today. I was not able to get into the trial today. Actually, had a whole bunch of stuff that went on, and so I wasn't able to even try. But I understand that it was crowded and may have been difficult to get in anyway. But I am going to try tomorrow, so we'll see. But I wanted to share with you my personal insights on day 4 of the Lori Vallow Daybell trial. And so even though I wasn't there, I was watching and listening all day long. So I just wanted to reflect or give you some information from a former member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So if you are not a Mormon or an ex-Mormon or did not grow up in the Mormon church with the Mormon lingo and the rhetoric and the indoctrination that we've all been taught, then this might be a very confusing trial for you to listen to. So I just wanted to kind of share with you what I know and what I think about what's being said. Now, today, this morning, I wanted to go so badly because I knew that Adam Cox was going to be interviewed, and I was really anxious to hear his story. And he was really great, and I loved his demeanor. I loved his answers. He was so truthful and honest, and he just was telling what he's going through. And specifically, what I thought was interesting was the fact that as a sibling, as a member of the Cox family, and first of all, I want to say those genes run deep. I mean, there is such facial um, similarities about the whole Cox family. Actually, I think Lori, I think the girls look a little different, but the boys, boy, even Uncle Rex that participates in a podcast with Adam Cox looks I mean, Alex and Adam and Uncle Rex look so much alike. There is no question about whether they are members of the Cox family. So I find that really, really interesting how strong genetics can be in certain families. And but Uncle Rex is so nice. He is the gentleman that I rode down the elevator with yesterday or Monday. I think it was. What's today? I don't even know what today. Oh, Wednesday. It was Wednesday that I went. And it's so kind, so pleasant, just in that short, brief time that we had in the elevator, just really, really pleasant and very, very polite and very, very nice. So that was really interesting. But so today, Adam was on the stand, and the lawyer asked him, the attorney asked him a little bit about his religion, because Lori, a lot of her um, really scary actions are based on her religious beliefs that she is entitled to these actions through her religious beliefs of elitism, and also a hierarchy that is taught in the Mormon church as far as your progression to a celestial being and who gets to go to celestial heaven. So, in the Mormon church, we don't just have heaven, right? We have three degrees of heaven. And that concept was created to kind of convince people that there isn't a definite hell or a heaven, but that there is a place for everyone. And you can earn your way to the very top, but you have to do these certain things. And one of the certain things that you have to do is you have to be married in the temple, not in a civil ceremony at all, but you have to be married in a temple, and you have to make certain promises, which basically are just pretty benign. They're just kind of, I will follow the commandments of God and things like that. But it's the fact that you're in the temple making these covenants that makes it possible for you to go to the highest kingdom. So in the temple, when people go to the temple to take out their ordinances, as they're known, and make these covenant promises, there's something called the second. Oh, crud, it just left my mind. I shouldn't be making podcasts at 9 o'clock at night. The second endowment. And it's not given to everyone. It's only special people are given this second endowment. And when you receive this, it's because you've been recommended by someone in authority. So a lot of the people, all of the apostles have had their second endowment. There's another word for it, and I can't think of it right now. It's definitely what they call their calling and election made sure, which means that they are guaranteed a spot in the celestial heaven no matter what. At that point, from that point on, there is nothing they can do that's wrong. And that's what Vallow Daybell is referencing when she says, I don't need to repent anymore. She's saying, I've had my calling and election made sure. And so when the apostles go to the temple and have their callings, then they will recommend someone that they know about, like maybe it might be another person who is being called into one of the presidencies, like a 70, what they call a 70. See what I'm saying? There's so much Mormon lingo that if you're not Mormon, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, so there are people that have promised not to say anything, not to tell anybody, but after they've left the church, they have divulged everything that happened on their calling and election, made sure their second endowment. So she is referencing that. She doesn't come out and say that, but she's referencing the fact that she is so celestial now that she has literally been transfigured and that she no longer needs to repent. Now, that does not happen unless you're one of the few people that have had this calling and election made sure. You don't need to repent anymore, but you're still a human. You haven't been transfigured. So this whole idea that she's been transfigured is cuckoo. So let's go and listen to a little bit of Alex's um, his interview today. And I don't have my mouse with me. I do, but I can't plug it in. So it's going to be a little bit harder for me. Oh, there we go. To find my clips that I want to show today. So I was like, come on, baby. There we go. All right. So let's look at this. And Adam, he introduced himself. He had a job. Oh, he was a DJ. And so he traveled a lot. I don't know what being a DJ, because most people are connected to one specific radio station. So I don't know why he traveled, but he lived in a lot of different places. So maybe he worked at a lot of different radio stations. He didn't really make that clear. But he doesn't do that anymore. Now he is a pickleball instructor, which is um, so cliche for Arizona, right? I mean, it's like pickleball in Arizona is almost like they should change the flag and just put a pickleball mallet up as the state symbol, because it's just cuckoo down here. Because it's so nice, year round, people can play pickleball, and it's really, really popular down here, almost to a fault. But anyway, so that's what he's doing for a living now. But let me share with you his testimony. Here we go.
Can you tell us about the story of Nephi?
Nephi? Well, Nephi was a prophet in the Book of Mormon. It's the first chapter. He was a prophet, very humble and faithful servant of the Lord. Ironically enough, his brothers tried to kill him at one point. But he actually ended up going to Jerusalem to get these plates back, and he was run off, came back, and then went back again because the Lord asked him to. And when he did, the King Laban, who was actually a wicked king, was laying on the ground drunk in front of him. And Nephi was told to kill Laban.
Who was he told by?
The spirit, or God.
So God was using a Holy Spirit to tell him to kill Laban? And
Yes.
did he?
Yes, he did.
Was that something he anguished over?
Yes.
But ultimately, it was a justified killing.
Yes.
So was the concept that it was better for Nephi to kill this one evil man and sort of benefit the nation and his descendants.
Yes.
Were you aware that that your sister had told people that Charles was possessed by evil spirits?
Okay. So right there, he's explaining the story of Nephi in the Book of Mormon. Now, I want you to understand, if you are not a member of this church, this story is just as true as the story of the creation in Genesis, the story of Moses, the story of Job. All of the stories that you read in the Bible are just as authentic to Mormons as the Book of Mormon stories are. These are real people that lived on the earth, and they believe these stories to be true events. The problem is, archaeologically, they are not, there's no proof that there was any existence of these groups of people, either in Jerusalem or in the Book of Mormon. And so, contrary to the historical evidence of the people that are mentioned in the Bible, there is no proof of any existence of any of these people. And yet the members of the church quote them and reference their stories as true story. They truly believe. They will say things about their demeanor, like Alex said, he was kind, he was humble, he was this, he was that. I mean, that's like sitting on a stage and saying, Harry Potter, what a kind, nice kid he was. How brave was Harry Potter? Well, he's a fictional character, so it doesn't really matter. But that's how they think of these prophets and these people, that their stories are told in this book called the Book of Mormon. So Alex is saying that when Lori Vallow refers to herself as doing what Nephi did, which was killing a man where his blood was shed, but it was okay because he was a bad guy. And for the sake of all the good guys, it's okay for him to be murdered. And so this is a very scary idea that God would tell you who to murder and who not to murder, right? So that's one of the problems. Now, later on, this is the best part, you guys. This is the best part. Oh, where is it? I wish I could put my mouse in because it would be so much easier to find these. But nope. Don't do that. I don't need that to be any bigger. Thank you very much. There we go. Come back. Where'd you go? Come back. I need that little, oh, this is really bad. There we go. Okay, let's play. This is the best part. Now it's Lori's turn to interview her brother, and she refers to him as Mr. Cox, which I think it's so amazing. But let me play this because this is the best part. Oh, this is just an image. Okay, this is just an image. Let me go back. This is Alex, and she's being interviewed. This is Lori on the left, and then Alex sitting on the stand. And so this is a very blurry image of what was going on in the courts in the thing today. So let me go to this one. And darn it, where did that go? Shoot. I want my mouse. Where's my mouse? There we go. Let me start out by showing you this. This is Dr. Ramani. Ramani, I think is how it's pronounced. Ramini. Ramani, maybe. She's fabulous. I've listened to so many of her things. She does not allow, she's very smart. She does not allow her videos to be shown in any other context except for when she herself is posting on Instagram or YouTube. But she is a narcissist expert. And one of the topics in one of her podcasts was she was talking about when you leave a narcissist. And she specifically says they're not very happy about that. They don't want you to leave because of course that means they no longer have control over you. And so one of the things that Alex says is that he has left. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Okay. He has left. The family has kind of disowned him because he's calling Lori out on her craziness. He is an active, currently still active member of the Mormon church, and so supposedly is her family, but they're crazy. And so when he tries to get their help and tries to tell them that what she's doing, they turn against him. And instead of defending, I mean, I think I've seen some interviews by Lori's sister and mother, I think they're starting to kind of go, well, maybe she did kill people. But they supported her all the way through, I think, her trial in Idaho. And so they were willing to throw this good man, this honest, normal, good man away to support their daughter. And it was just fascinating. Let me go back to Adam's talk or his message, and then I can oh, this is going to drive me crazy. Okay, let me put him back on here.
Were you aware that your sister had told people that your brother,
which was like 10 times a year?
after you had that argument with your mom, what did you do?
Me and Zach left her house, and we were staying at Summer's house, my sister, who was away on vacation. And we were staying at her house, and we went back to her house. We were watching her dog.
You were supposed to leave the next morning, Sunday.
So this is where he says, when he confronted his mother and said, do you know what's going on? And she defended Lori, and he was like, I'm out of here. And so he went to stay at his sister's house, because remember, I think he was living in Kansas at the time. And so he had flown out to Arizona.
To go back to Wichita. Did you return back home?
Yes, we did.
Did your son go with you this time?
Yes, he did.
After this whole incident happened, did you not talk with your family for a long time?
Yes.
Did it cause a lot of friction in your family?
Yes.
Have you started to try to talk with your family some?
Yes.
I have no other questions, Your Honor.
Okay, here comes the good part. This is so great.
Mr. Cox, how long has it been since we've seen each other in person?
Don't know.
When was the last time you saw me?
I don't recall.
So, has it been a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6
Something
years,
like that.
7 years, 8 years?
Something.
Okay. So, you have no idea.
Nope.
You have no idea when the last time you saw me in person.
I don't know the year or how many years it's been.
Okay. So, did you see me at Colby's wedding in January 2018?
No, I was not there.
You didn't come to Colby's wedding.
No, I did not.
So, did you see me sometime that year?
Okay, referencing back to Dr. Ramani, or however it's pronounced, I hope that's correct. I'll go back and listen. But this is all about her. This is all about her. This is all about, how long has it been since you've talked to me? And when was the last? You didn't come to my son's wedding. She's trying to make him out to be a horrible person because he cut off relationships with her. That's what she's trying to establish. So it's all about her being this good person and him being someone that cut off all relations with the family. It's just amazing.
At my house,
Possibly.
where Colby got married. That house.
I did see you at that house, yes.
At least one time.
Yes.
So possibly in 2018.
Yes.
And when was the last time we had any communications?
The last time I remember our communications was you and I were speaking in the kitchen when the family was over.
Okay, so you think that was that time in 2018?
I think so.
Okay. And were we eating my green chili chicken enchiladas?
Do not remember that.
You do not remember that?
Nope.
Is that what I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10 times a year?
I don't remember that.
Okay. And when was the last time that we had a phone call or text message?
Okay, so this is the greatest. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is the green enchiladas. You don't remember my green enchiladas that like everyone remembers, and I bring to every single family gathering. Like everyone asks me to bring these enchiladas, and you don't remember what day, time, year, what the weather was, what I was wearing. You have no recollection of my green enchiladas. I mean, it's like I was so sad that I had missed that this morning because this was just the epitome. I mean, Dr. Ramani should show this entire trial as a perfect example of what a narcissist is. It's just so great. So anyway, then after Alex was done, then they brought on a Serena Sharp, who is a friend. And I have mixed feelings about her testimony because at one point the prosecutor asked her, "Do you just believe everything you're told, or do you question things?" And she's like, "Oh no, I question things." But the ironic part about it is how she met Lori. She met Lori because she was going to a people, what was the people thing, the thing that Chad Daybell had started, and it was all about food storage and prepping, preparing people or people for the prepping, I don't know, something like that. And she was going to that because she believed the rhetoric that's taught in the Mormon church that we should have a food storage because we are very, very close to the second coming. Now, in just last weekend, there was what they call General Conference, and the closing statement from the prophet of the church was, "We are days. We are in the days. Jesus is going to be here any day." And these prepper people are using that information to, some of them are committing crimes because of it, but others are cleaning out their savings account to buy food storage and finding places where they can live safely, and they're using the climate control problems, the floods, the rain, the snow, the tornadoes. All of those are indicators that these are the last days and Jesus is coming. And so let me share some of Serena's testimony because, hey, she's a very pleasant, wonderful person. But the fact that she met Lori through flying to Arizona to attend a prepper meeting and meeting up with these girls, and that they all think the same, and what they did when they were together is all a sign of, no, you don't use critical thinking. You are indoctrinated, and you're following this indoctrination. She didn't do anything wrong. She's not a criminal. I'm just saying that in her mind, she uses critical thinking because Lori was thinking outside the box of the rules that she believes in the Mormon church. And she was following different rules. And so it's kind of like, oh, really? Okay, well, that's interesting. So let's find that, and I will show you that. Once again, we have to find my little clicker down because there we go. All right, here we go.
Lori was there. She came with Alex, her brother, and basically I said hi, and not much more than that. She sat on the other side of the restaurant, opposite of me. So what
she's talking about here was she was invited to a luncheon that was organized by Zulema, which is Lori's sister-in-law. She is Alex Cox's widow, the one who murdered her husband. And she had arranged this luncheon for Lori after Charles had died. And so she had invited Serena to come to this luncheon. So that's what she's talking about.
Not much contact there, but
Okay. And then what was the other contact you had with her?
I can't remember how it was organized. Perhaps at that lunch, Lori invited the women over to her house to just talk. And she had just lost her husband. And I don't know if I was included by accident or how that happened. I don't remember exactly, but I did go over to her house that night because here's somebody that I knew, and she had just lost her husband, which that's a big deal. And I wanted to find out how she was doing and what was going on.
Did you know anything at that time about the loss of her husband? Like what had happened?
I had heard vague things, but I had been across the country, so I didn't know any particulars.
Do you recall who was at the house that night?
Multiple women, but I actually don't remember who was there. I think Melanie Gibb was there, and then a few other ladies, but I actually don't remember who.
And do you recall that same time frame of like either the end of July or the beginning of August?
Yes.
Can you describe for us Lori's demeanor at this meeting, this gathering at her house?
I would assume, like in my estimation, it was more like stoic. I didn't see any like mourning or crying.
After that contact with Lori, did you ever see her again?
No,
Did you know that she had moved out of state?
no, not till long after she already had.
Did you know that she had married Chad Daybell?
Nope.
So basically, after paying your condolences, that was sort of the end of your contact friendship with Lori Vallow?
Yes, I think there might have been a few texts after that just to check up on her and see how she was doing. She had just lost her husband again, and I think she was trying to figure out how to move forward, and I was concerned. But nothing of substance.
Was your interactions with her via text very limited?
Yes.
Okay, so all right, so I am sitting in the dark right now, but that's because it was not worth it to not have my mouse. I needed my mouse more than I needed the light. So that's why I am now sitting in the dark. However, all right, let's also shrink this. Can we shrink this a little bit? There we go. So lighting is not so good, but I need my mouse. I can't do it with my finger. This was just very irritating. So it's okay. It's all right. So we don't need good lighting. We need to see it better. So what I wanted to also say about Serena was that she was house hunting. One of the things she said in her testimony was that she was house hunting. She now lives in an area of Arizona called Queen Creek, which is highly populated by LDS. The other, there's another one called Gilbert, and there's another area called Chandler. These are very highly populated areas of Mormons. And often people who are very staunch in this religion will actually tell the realtor, I want to live in Queen Creek, I want to live in Chandler or Gilbert because of the high population of Mormonism. So there is this idea that safety, that my children will be safe and our family will be safe if we live in these clusters of Mormons. And so at one point, Serena says in her testimony is that she was actually looking to move to Rexburg because of the things Chad Daybell was teaching in this prepper community. Again, Chad was teaching that Rexburg would be the safe place to go in the last days. And she was actually considering moving to Rexburg, which is also highly populated by Mormons, you know. So, and it was settled. I mean, when they all went out to Utah, there were communities sent to Arizona to populate and settle that area. So that's why there's such a density of Mormons in that area. So, you know, as sweet as she is, she's very indoctrinated, and it also believes a lot of the things that Lori was teaching. One of the things that she said was when they got together in their luncheon, they had lunch, they went to the temple, they prayed, and that was when Lori did her casting, when she was casting out the demons that were supposedly, and she said, now that was like, oh, that doesn't seem quite right. But it wasn't quite right because that isn't something that Mormons normally do. So any of the other stuff that other secular people or even other Christians would also go, yeah, and that's another thing we don't do. So she doesn't look at the other things that Mormons do as odd, but she looks, because she's been indoctrinated, but she looks at the things that Lori does as odd because it isn't part of the normal authorized activity. So the things that she does when she went to the temple, those are all considered cuckoo by most evangelical Christians, but they're not cuckoo to her. But the things that Lori was doing were crazy because that isn't what normal Mormons do. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So anyway, so let's listen to a little bit more of her testimony.
Yes, I did.
Did you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I did.
The whole truth?
Yes.
Nothing but the truth?
This is
Yes.
Lori interviewing
So
her
moving.
now.
God.
So can we agree that this court acknowledges that your testimony here today will be accountable to God?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the relevance of this.
Sustained.
Your Honor, they brought up the religion.
Ask for a response. It's sustained.
I love this judge and I love this prosecutor because you can just hear it in her voice. She's like, oh, geez, Louise, where are we going with this? Object, irrelevance. I mean, just the tone in her voice is like, it's so obvious that Lori doesn't know what she's doing. And this judge is being so patient with her, teaching her how to be a lawyer as this goes
Ask the
on.
next question.
Do you believe that your testimony here will be accountable to God?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Sharp, how many times did we meet in person?
4.
How many one-on-one conversations during those meetings do you think that we actually had? Just you and me. Nobody else around. Just you and me.
That, if you remember, if you were able to watch Lori's interview with Keith Morrison on Dateline, she does this a lot. This is part of her defense, is she's trying to convince the jury that these people do not remember the date, the time, the location, what she was wearing, what the weather was, and that they cannot testify that they heard out of her mouth, I'm going to kill my husband, or I'm going to hire Alex to kill my husband. And she thinks that that is her defense, that as long as these people cannot give date, time, temperature of her saying these things out of her mouth, that she could not be complicit in it at all. It's just the weirdest defense, but she's done this with every person that she's crossed.
Maybe 2.
2 conversations in our whole lives,
Maybe
just
3.
me and you.
You said during those meetings.
During the 4 times that we saw each other in person, how many times did you and I have a one-on-one conversation where other people were not in the conversation? Just me and you.
I can remember 3.
Okay? And how many times did we communicate on the phone?
Do you want me to estimate? I don't remember how many times.
Sure, just an estimate.
I'm not sure how to estimate that. Multiple times?
Like more than 10 or less than 10?
Probably more than 10.
No other questions, Your Honor.
More than 20?
Cross-examination.
going to speed this up a little bit.
Again, I don't remember verbatim. That was, 6 years ago?
So it could be possible that it really never came out of my mouth. Is that true?
Okay, I'm going to object again to asked and answered now a third time.
Sustained.
Ms. Sharp, who are the 3 Nephites in the Book of Mormon?
The 3 Nephites? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
In 3 Nephi 28, the 3 Nephites, do you know who they are?
Off the top of my head, no.
You do not know who they are.
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay. In the Bible, do you know of John the Revelator?
Yes?
Do you know of John the Revelator being translated?
I don't remember that, but
You don't remember that? What about in the Old Testament, Elijah? Was he translated?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to relevance.
What's the relevance?
I've been accused of being out of the scope of the LDS religion when this is exactly in the scope of the LDS religion.
All right, I guess to the extent you're comparing yourself to these biblical figures, I'll allow it.
Do you not love that? Is that not perfect? To the extent that you are comparing yourself to these biblical figures. Sure, Lori, go on. And it's almost like she's like, bury yourself even deeper, my dear. My pleasure. Please keep talking. It's just amazing. So let me listen a little bit more.
yes, I believe so.
Okay. But you don't know that John the Revelator was translated as well?
I can't remember.
And then the 3 Nephites in the Book of Mormon, they're translated as well?
No, there were 3. You asked me their names. I don't remember their names.
I wasn't asking their names. I said, do you know who they are? As in, are you aware of them? I'm sorry. I'll be more specific. Are you aware of the 3 Nephites in the Book of Mormon?
Yes.
That they were translated?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that that isn't uncommon in the Christian belief system, to believe in people being translated?
I don't know if I'm qualified to.
Okay, I have to stop it there. Excellent responses. She is giving excellent responses. But it's interesting that she says that I'm not qualified. I don't know what every Christian religion teaches, and I love that. But I just wanted to close this by kind of telling you a little bit about what the church teaches. In the Book of Mormon, the 3 Nephites, also known as the 3 Nephite disciples, are 3 Nephite disciples of Jesus, who were blessed by Jesus to remain alive on the earth, engaged in his ministry and in their apostolic callings until his second coming. As described in 3 Nephi chapter 28, this change occurred when they were caught up into heaven, similar to Mormon beliefs about John the Apostle. The 3 Nephites were granted immortality in order to carry out their ministering work on the earth. The account in the Book of Mormon reads that they ministered unto all the people in the surrounding lands, bringing many to the church by means of preaching and baptism. In modern times, the 3 Nephites and the beliefs surrounding them make up a significant part of Mormon folklore. These stories describe situations in which the 3 Nephites have appeared and provided assistance in some way or another to church members, and such stories give insight into the contemporary tests of faith experienced by the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So this just is a brief explanation. So again, these are stories of fictional people who supposedly were translated and are living on the earth today, and they are still ministering as disciples of Jesus. And people will tell stories of being, their car breaks down on the side of the road, and the 3 Nephites will appear and serve them somehow. So these stories are being told by people in 2025. And so for Lori to say that, if you believe that these men who lived on the earth in the time of Jesus, which is hilarious because Jesus wasn't even born at the time the Book of Mormon was written. Supposedly, this is all where he appeared to the Nephites after he died. So, I mean, the whole timing is cuckoo. But they, she's like, yes, I know the story. I believe the story. Yes, I do believe that there are 3 Nephites walking the earth. So my point is that the teachings of the Mormon Church, let me, where did that go? I think I have that one pulled up. And I want to try and do a share screen. Again, I always try this. Okay, so the 3 Nephites and the doctrine of translation. Now, this is from a BYU studies class. It says in September of 1842, the prophet Joseph Smith declared that there were many things which never had been revealed from the foundation of the world, but have been kept hid from the wise and prudent, that it shall be revealed unto babes and sucklings in this, the dispensation of the fullness of times. And you can find that in Doctrine and Covenants, section 128, verse 18. The doctrine of translation is one of those mysteries that has eluded humankind. The prophet Joseph Smith taught that the doctrine of translation is a power which belongs to the Melchizedek priesthood. There are many things which belong to the powers of the priesthood and the keys thereof that have been kept hid from before the foundation of the world. They are hid from the wise and prudent to be revealed in the last times. And this can be found in the teachings of the prophet Joseph Smith. Most Protestant theologians make no specific reference to the doctrine of translation or translated beings in their Bible dictionaries. For example, neither the New Bible Dictionary, Harper's Bible Dictionary, nor the Interpreter's Dictionary of the Bible make any specific heading for translated beings or the doctrines of translation. The extent to which the idea of translation is referred to, it's typified by one simple sentence found under the heading of Enoch in the New Bible Dictionary. Elijah, 2 Kings 2:11, he, Enoch, was received under the presence of God without dying. It appears to be a commonly held belief by many theologians that to be translated is to be taken unto God's kingdom without experiencing death. So that answers the question of, when she said, do you think other Christians believe in translation? And she said, I don't know, because other Christians don't talk about that because they believe that these people were taken up to heaven without dying, which is not the same as being translated into celestial beings and still walking the earth. So it just makes me understand that this is not just a Christian religion. This is a complete anomaly. This is something that was created in America in the 19th century, and that has very specific, odd beliefs and doctrine that make people like Lori Vallow, who are dying for fame and recognition, go to these extremes. And so, when other people talk about other religions and the extremes that they go to, but then the Mormons don't see it in their own religion, it's just absolutely ironic. So that's my headlines. I wanted to just tell you too, this is Adam, the one who testified today, and his Uncle Rex that I mentioned in the beginning. This is their podcast, Silver Linings. And it's a very fun podcast that they do. Can you see the family resemblance between these two? This is an uncle and a nephew, and yet there's such strong resemblance between the two. And this is a picture of Adam. He has this on his website. As I said, he is a professional pickleball teacher. So anyway, so I hope this has caught you up on day 4. I am going to try and make it tomorrow. I'm going to leave very, very early. Hopefully I'll get in. If not, I'll be turning around and coming right back to Scottsdale. But anyway, So thanks for joining me today. I hope this has given you some insight. Please leave comments. I would love to hear your opinion on this, and like and subscribe. And I will be, if I can get in tomorrow, I will definitely be talking. And I'm going to see if I can this time get some selfies, or maybe even chit chat with either Lauren or Nate. I don't want to bother them. I know they have jobs that they're covering this as journalists. Not so much Lauren. This is pretty much her own thing. But I know Nate's doing it for Idaho News, East Idaho News. So anyway, so I'll try to get a hold of them. So once again, like and subscribe and share. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.